So for our next exciting episode, we actually just went out today to run some errands, but one of the things that was on our list was that we stopped to look at a 1991, so it's a third generation, Toyota Supra Turbo, and it's for this guy because he's got an MR2, and the MR2 needs a little bit of love right now. It's not bad, but it's been down for a while. It's been kind of a nuisance to get set up. So we've been looking at a bunch of other cars, and one of those cars was the Toyota Supra. So, this is specifically the Turbo. I mean, obviously do you like the Mark 4s?
Mark 4 Turbos?
Oh, yeah, because that was on one of your top cars in the garage, top 5. I bet those are obviously way outside of a reasonable price range right now. So anyway, it looks pretty good.
Yep.
It needs a little bit of love, paint-wise, which is no big deal. We have the body shop. And then some interior work, but again, no big deal. And obviously we want to go through and do the head studs. But one of the conversations that I wanted to have with you when I was talking to you is because I'm pretty sure, for me, myself, I'm going to probably buy a 350Z, or at least I'd really, really like to buy a 350Z as my next, John car. I don't know. It just seems like the right thing for me to do. I really want a Skyline. I just don't think Skyline's going to be the responsible thing to do. I think that if you can't afford 2 Skylines, don't buy 1 Skyline.
Right.
Because, and if you can't deal with the downtime of it, then just don't. But so I think I'm going to get a 350Z, but here's the conversation that I wanted to have with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how, and I might have already sort of talked to you about this, you know how they had the, I guess the AE86. People loved it. It was the drift,
right.
like the Prince of Drift.
Yeah.
And then they went to the 240.
Right.
The 240 became like the trashed, cheap car that you could get. That everybody, there was never a 240 that was done. It was always almost done. It was a project or as people called it, a drift slut. And it was like, I don't know, a drift missile, whatever. Like, it just, they always look like crap. And the thing is, I'm not really big into the whole competitive drift scene, and so visual aesthetics are important to me over the angle that you can pull while driving. So anyway, the reason why it went to the 240 is because they were affordable. And then you saw next up we saw a bunch of RX-7s.
Yep.
Because again, 50-50 weight ratio, decent power, and people were dropping LS swaps into them, or whatever they could, to get more power. And then we are starting to see, and we've seen, I guess, over the last couple of years now, SC300s and some Supras, like the third generation Supras and stuff, because they're super, super cheap. And there's a reason why we started this talking about the 350Z is that the price of the 350Z is slowly on a decline. You can get 350Zs now in the $7,000 range, like upper sixes, $7,000 range in our local area. And so my wonder is, do you think the 350Z is going to be the next torn up drift car?
Probably not, just because the FRS BRZ is also dropping.
Yeah, but the FRS BRZs are still 15,000 plus. They're double the 350Zs.
True.
And they don't put out a ton of power.
But we saw the 2013 drop to 16 from its original price of what, 24, 25?
Right. Okay. So that's
that
like
is
a 40% drop. 40% drop. All right.
And that was for the 2013 model.
But see, the thing is, they don't natively put out a ton of power. They slide around really well. They're really low center of gravity. They're balanced, but they also run on Prius tires.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think what the drivers care about at that point in time is the excitement of driving it. So if it already does that factory, I think they'll go that route. And from what we've seen,
In a quarter mile, keep right to continue on Southeast Woodward Street. Follow signs for US 26 West, Ross Island Bridge.
I'm sorry, I was listening to the directions for a second. We want to get on the Ross Island Bridge 26 West.
Alright. This is
Yeah.
Keep right to continue on SE Woodward Street.
Okay, repeat that sentence for me.
Continue on Ross Island Bridge for 3/4 of a mile. In 800 feet, turn right onto Southeast 8th Avenue.
800 feet, turn right.
well, we found out Scott's favorite place.
Is this really where he goes?
I think he has been there.
Turn right onto Southeast 8th Avenue, then slight right onto Southeast Powell Boulevard.
Oh my god. Here's why I hate Portland.
Yeah, driving around in the city, any city is not good.
Slight right onto Southeast Powell Boulevard.
Yeah, you had to do a loop to get up on the bridge.
Oh my god.
Alright, I think we're set for a little bit. Alright, so run that sentence by me again. What was your thought?
So what I was saying was that
Continue on Ross Island Bridge for 3/4 of a mile. Keep right to continue on SE Woodward Street. Continue on Ross Island Bridge for 3/4 of a mile.
That's the thing, is you can't cheaply yet.
Yeah.
You supercharge it, and you do turbocharges, and like yeah, but the thing is, it's not something. I don't know where we want to be. I don't know if we want to take a right or if we want to stay in the middle lane. But we'll figure it out. Either way, we'll get there. But so the thing is,
In a 1/4 mile, use any lane to turn slightly right onto US 26 West.
there we go, slightly right on, and then we're good from there. All right. So the thing is, I don't think it's affordable to get enough power out of them yet. And whereas we look at the 350Z, like okay, let's look at what China.
Use any lane to turn slightly right onto US 26 West. Signs for city center.
Power is very important, I think, to be able to. It didn't used to be. It is now, though. Like these people are throwing like 500 plus.
In 1,000 feet, continue straight onto Southwest Arthur Street.
Totally think we wanted to go there.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe not. Something coming up here. This is like the worst video because we're lost and.
Continue straight onto Southwest Arthur Street, then Southwest Arthur Street turns slightly right and becomes Southwest 3rd Avenue.
God damn. Yeah.
All right. I actually sort of have an idea where we're at now. Go. Oh, or don't. All right. Anyway. Okay. Right. So power. Power is important in the drift vehicle. And then immediately after that, people start working on suspension and weight reduction. Because, I mean, a good way to get, or at least make use of the power that you have is weight reduction. And so we see that. So, but, like, let's say we take a 350Z and gut it the same way that these people do for their drift cars.
Mm-hmm.
Gut it. And now you have a 300 factory NA, so power all across the band. 300 horsepower, car, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual car.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that I guess that's my thought.
Southwest Arthur Street turns slightly right and becomes Southwest 3rd Avenue, then continue on to Southwest Carruthers Street.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really. Dude, I'm trying to...
Continue on to Southwest Carruthers Street.
So as you can see, we're two Asian guys and we're living up to the stereotype that we don't know our directions around town.
That's not the stereotype. The stereotype is that you just don't know how to drive at all. All right,
Or
so
we don't know where we're going.
Well, we know where we're going. We're going home.
Yeah,
All right.
that's how long it takes us.
Go straight. I think we're doing all right. I think we're doing.
In 800 feet, slight right onto Southwest 6th Avenue.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna take off, guys, and pay attention to the GPS.
Later.
If you have any questions or shit to say, whatever.